Hey guys, welcome to Clockwork Noodles for something a little bit different. We're going to break down the third episode of Elusive Samurai. I'm not going back to do the first two episodes. They're just great, okay? Just trust me on this one. They're perfectly great. I love them. But we are going to jump in and start doing weekly uploads for the Elusive Samurai. It's a show that I have just been gripped with, and I have so much good stuff I want to say about it. So I'm here to share the good stuff, hopefully promote the show a little bit if you're not watching it already, or if you are watching it, provide you an outlet so we can chat about the amazingness that is the show. But welcome to the channel. I'm Clockwork Noodles. Hopefully you guys are doing okay. I am still ill, but it's getting better, but my body is so bad at handling this kind of stuff. I'm going to be ill for probably the next few weeks or so, which really does suck. I'm going to be flying soon, and I'm probably going to get sick on the plane. I'm going to wear a mask. I'm going to buckle up. I'm going to make sure that everything's okay for the trip across to Japan. Japan in 12 days now. We're getting there. Obviously, that is going to mean there are going to be some bumping around when it comes to your reviews. I don't want it to take too long, hoping to minimize it to at least a week max. But I am going to make sure that there is content coming out regardless, so I'm going to be doing some work behind the scenes just to get stuff scheduled so the channel doesn't go dead or anything. It might just be a week of bumping around, and you might get 2 reviews in either the same video, or I'll do them a few days apart. But welcome to the channel, and I'm glad that you guys have tuned in, because it means that you either are interested in my stuff. Thank you so much. That is the highest honor. I've had a few people who don't even watch the shows tune in for my reviews just because they like listening to my opinions, which is great. It's really rare. It also probably means that you are watching the show and you are shocked that I am breaking it down, and you just want to know what I think about it. Let's go straight to the OP, because the OP is just amazing. It's so good. It's so catchy. With this show being the juxtapositioning masterclass in how you do juxtapositioning. If you haven't watched the show will cover a very brutal theme, but it does it in a way that it's covered by color. It's covered by a happy image to juxtapose what you're seeing. Now, the OP is so perfect at showing you this. It's colorful. It's bouncy. It sets up that height, that juxtapositioning off the bat. It's a show which is literally dedicated to covering a brutal theme of revenge, where we have a young boy whose whole family has been murdered rise up, take revenge with the help of Gojo Satoru from Jujutsu Kaisen. Same voice actor. All the Gojo fans are literally having their dreams come true right now. You're literally watching him as a god, a literal god. He literally has the power of the sun in his headdress, which I absolutely love. And honestly, the way this show does characters is just so perfect. The OPED are just that good, I really want to say. Let's just keep an eye on the midways. They're going to be on both lists, but where they end up is going to be down to how I feel on the day. But they're definitely literally bringing the fire when it comes to the OPs, EDs. And if you are curious by the midway, that should hopefully still take place on time, because that's 6 weeks in. In the midway review, I give you guys my top 3 OPs, EDs, current standing when it comes to anime. The OPs and EDs are just good. I'm just confident they're going to be on the list. I just don't know where. The artwork for this show is beautiful. I initially did see this anime show, and I mentioned it in my overview. I did say I think it's going to be a low-key dark horse. I think it's going to be like the one that nobody bets on, and it might come in clutch when it comes to anime of the season, perhaps. But there is a lot going on this season. This show is still blowing me away. Now, I did initially look at the manga. I looked at the manga score. The manga score was pretty low. So I was like, okay, we're not going to break it down, but I am going to watch it. Episode 1, literally the biggest regret of my life not breaking that show down. We already had it where I've missed out on Trigun, didn't get to break it down on the channel because I was too scared of what people would think. And honestly, I'm starting to learn that this is my YouTube channel and I should do things that I really enjoy. I do enjoy this show, so I want to make sure that you guys also get to see me bringing the happy vibes, because this show is just too good. I want to slaver so much praise on this show. Amount of work that's gone into it. The soundtrack is beautiful. The art is gorgeous. The character build up is great. Introductions to the characters are amazing. We open, of course, with the rules to winning a war. Tokiyuki, a master of running away. He's a master of playing tag. He's a master of everything but actually playing in a war. The god that is Suwa behind us, he is convinced, because he has seen it, that this young boy is going to basically take revenge and become the biggest hero ever. Suwa is not a sham, 100%. I was thinking the whole thing all the way through, and the idea is that he's coming across as a buffoon to cover the fact that he actually is the real deal. And we see it this week. He is in fact the real deal. Really playing into the theme that the show is trying to drive home. You think one thing, but actually something else is actually going on. So you shouldn't underestimate what you're seeing on the screen at any point. Somebody who could appear as your friend may not turn out to be your friend, and they might actually plan an uprising against you. It's a show that is going to deal with things not appearing as they seem and not taking things for granted. Suwa is like one of my favorite characters. I love him. He's great. I also like the look of the villain, and I know we've got a bit of a villain thing going on, and the ongoing gag is that I've got a tiny bit of a sweet spot for villains, just a tiny bit. I just think he looks cool, okay? I'm just going to leave it at that. He looks cool, and I'll be very interested to see his motivations, why he's done what he's done. I like a good written villain. So if you can write this guy to be contrasty, really interesting, I want to see what his motives are, and make sure that he's deep, and we've got a good time on our hands, because it means he's going to be a very interesting villain. I want him to be 3D. I want him to have depth. I want him to actually be more than just a shallow villain who just wants revenge and like glory kind of thing. So it'd be interesting to see that. Now, this show is super self-aware, and it does not stray away from telling you it's super self-aware. By Suwa telling us that we've got a running gag of him falling in a hole, and then he even goes to tell the audience we're not going to do it a third time because we understand it's not funny. And then later the show again, it lulls you into a false sense of security. It does it for the third time, and I was like, of course, so perfect that you're actually gonna tell me that. And for some reason I even trusted it, and I think that is the clever point, is you trust Suwa. You just don't think, you're like, okay, I'll just trust the guy because he said it's not going to happen again. And then it happens and you're like, oh yeah, that's literally the vibe that Tokiyuki has. It's almost the reverse of what we, the audience, have. He is the #1 fan of him though, and he's perhaps the best retainer ever. He's literally fallen on his feet when he's found this guy. This guy is great. I love the artwork. I love how goofy and OTT he is. He is quirky. He's somebody who you look at and go, yeah, this guy is not serious. But this guy really is serious. Supernatural vibes, things that I enjoy breaking down on my channel. History, I love historical animes. Of course, this show ticks that box immediately. I love supernatural stuff that deals with supernatural, and this week it really does show you it's dealing with the supernatural when you've got like beasts from another time. This show really does tick all the boxes for me, and I love a good rural setting. Rural settings are literally right up my alleyway, and this show in particular is actually getting me a little bit hyped because I'm actually going to a slightly rural prefecture with my placement. Technically, I'm not as rural as this, but when I saw the shrine and we get the introduction to his home, the shrine, this is where I'm from, this is my prefecture, it's really beautiful. And it really made me excited to go and see a shrine, because I literally get a vibe for all aspects. I don't just want to be hanging out in a ramen bar. I want to go and see historical things. I want to go and see a proper shrine. I want to go and see everything. And this show really giving me that taste of what I really want to do. I love how clever Suwa is. Our boy doesn't want to study. He just says, you can just send me around. I can run around a battlefield. That's all I need to do. But he needs to realise that there's a reason why you need to study, and you can't just get away with chancing it. You need to actually buckle down and do the thing. Tokiyuki is not going to do this just by a whim. If he doesn't see a purpose in studying, he's not going to study. So he literally goes out of his way to give us one of the most beautiful scenes that I have seen this week, and it's the rain dance. The rain dance is absolutely gorgeous. I just have a thing for that kind of dance as well. I don't know if it's like a kagura dance or something. Something along those lines. It's breathtaking. I absolutely love the effect they had of the raindrops stopping in the air, frozen around him, and then they start to gather. The music is gorgeous. It's artistically perfect. I love the direction that they went with this actual scene. It's gorgeous. I love the swell in the music too. It's really just such a beautiful sequence. I wasn't expecting it. And it almost reminded me of back in the day, the first impact we all had when we watched Demon Slayer, and the art was just the thing that really drove the plot forward. With this, it's like a weaker version of Demon Slayer when it comes to like the in-your-face art, but in a sense, I almost think it's better to be a bit more subtle. And I love how subtle they are in this sequence in particular, because you can see a lot of the colour fades from the actual scene just to make it a bit more impactful. And then as you've got the colour kind of fading and the rain shoots into the sky, you have the sun coming out behind our god's head, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And of course, I know it might be set up, but it is a very powerful sequence with the guys all shouting hip hip hooray, and it's just such a good moment because it lights a fire under him, and he goes, actually, there is a reason to why I need to study, and I need to find this motivation on my own. It has to come from him. So it's such a great moment to give him a taste of what it feels like to be a hero. And I love the artistic expression they have. It's gorgeous. The fact that the son has the crazy face, Sua's face, he's literally backing the hero, which is perfect. But I love the use of art in the show. It will go from the cartoon anime style to painting occasionally, or then it becomes this gorgeous mural on the side as well, which I think is absolutely perfect. It's just a very nice dip into different kind of traditional art forms gushing over the show. And when I did see episode number 1, I tried to promote it to a few people. Didn't go down as well as I thought. So I don't know how hype people are about the show, but a few of my friends were like, it's too brutal for me. And that's fair, absolutely fair. I think that's also why the show has to be as colourful and almost comedic. It covers up a world of hurt, but it also is making a very powerful story palatable in a sense. If people wanted to have just like doom and gloom, you'd go and watch something like Vinland Saga. That is coming back at some point, and I love my Vinland Saga. But with a show like this, it's actually really refreshing to have that more comedic art style picked out. I absolutely love the interaction between the characters. There's so much going on. Then, of course, the show doing that third gag and doing the thing that they said they wouldn't do was absolutely perfect. It made me laugh. It really did genuinely make me go, oh my God, you just did the thing that you said you wouldn't do. And then, of course, it goes into a nice little Easter egg, as the Easter egg literally shocked me. I didn't realise where I was going, and it's just perfect. The fact as well, they gave him the Dragon Ball hair. They gave him the crazy Goku hair. Such a good reference that I think I just needed to take my hat off and go, this works so good. And then, of course, the Easter egg is ruined by him going, I don't care. I literally don't care. Stop it. It's so perfect. And I think that's where I like the show being kind of self-aware. Learning about retainers is great for anybody who doesn't know about them, and you learn a bit of history as well. I do know about retainers. I know all about that because I've played a lot of otome games that are based in the Sengoku period and Edo periods, and that's my shamefully admitting that I am addicted to the kind of games. But it did teach me history, and it told me about that period of time, and it tells you about retainers and how they serve the Lord and how each of them have their own little crests and everything. And it was very fascinating to see the show also doing it in a very like visual, simplified way, just to say this is what's going on. Of course, it gives you a chance to meet your other characters. It introduces them once again, gives you an idea of who they are and what their strengths are. And of course, that's also given to our boy, just so he knows that they've got their own strengths. So the hunting sequence is absolutely perfect. It sets up the idea of teamwork. It makes everybody think. It's perfect. It's paced. It's actiony. I love it. I love watching our boy just throwing himself around the screen. It just works. And of course, you get to see the other guys also putting their skills into action. It's just such a good moment to bond over. I think it's almost perfect, but it also allows us to have the inclusion of the ancient beast in there as well, which I really like. Supernatural elements also in the show. I appreciate that because that's my thing. I really enjoy that kind of thing in a show. The Elusive Warriors is narrowly missing out on a roll credit moment. It's not. I do think it's going to go there at some point, but I'm also happy they didn't quite go for on the nose, this is the Elusive Samurai, and it's not. It's such a good moment. I love the little hot spring sequence where everyone's mucking around. It's perfect. And honestly, it's just such good vibes. And it's a show where I think it's going to be heavy. And we've seen it get heavy. And I think it needs this kind of balance. And I think it works really, really well. Now, let's talk about the perfect ED, because this is the perfect ED. I don't know if I like this more than the OP. It's so difficult because I love both of them. You've got a show as brutal as the themes that are going on, ending on a disco, a literal modern disco. All of the characters are wearing modern day outfits. Your villain is literally your DJ. It's just too perfect. That's maybe why I like him as well. It's because he's setting the pace. He's essentially setting the pace and the stage for the show to actually happen. And I think it's very clever having him running the show. This is me setting the vibe. This is the pace that we're going with. This is the song that we're going with. Because if he hadn't done what he had done, the show would have probably not gone in a direction, or it wouldn't have Elusive Samurai at all. The song is very addictive. The vibe is fantastic. It continues with this very poppy, lots of colour in your face. Everything's fun. Everyone's having fun, despite the fact that this guy has just literally killed your family. You're actually having a picnic, having a flower viewing with him. And that's how crazy this kind of show is. Lots of really good artistic value, lots of good music choices, lots of intrigue as well. I don't know where we're going to go, but I'm very excited to see where the show goes. And I hope that there is a audience out there listening to Becca making this worth it. 'Cause I don't know if you guys are going to be interested or not, because obviously I didn't start from episode 1, but I want to believe that this show is doing at least okay, and that some people on the channel have checked it out and you're enjoying the show, because it's definitely worth it. If you haven't checked it out, do check it out, but bear in mind that it will be a little bit on the brutal side initially, but bear with it because the show is going to counterbalance it for you just to make it a bit more easier to deal with. So thank you guys so much. I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye, guys.